Hey everybody, welcome to Conversations in Pop Culture. I am your host, Andrew Davis, and this episode is brought to you by my sponsors, which is my very own t-shirt. You could buy that right now. It is available in 16 different colors if you're a fan of Gundam. And since I do have a comic guest, I am also brought to you by BCW Supplies. Use code POPAnimeComics to get 10% off your entire order. And they sell bags, boards, and everything to protect your comics. So use that code. It is an affiliate link. So you get 10% off your order, and it does help to support this show. And inflation sucks, so please go save yourself some money. And as many people know, I am coming out to Substack to talk about comic book investing. So be on the lookout for that. That should drop in the next 2 weeks with the entire class. It is going to be behind a paywall, but I promise you that we are going to teach you the fundamentals, and it is going to be super, super exciting. And I am teaching the class. So you will be hearing my voice a lot throughout that entire class. And so I am not going to bore you with the rest of my sponsors because I have with me artist Cris Delara, who has done just about everything in the art world at this point, ranging from illustrations to character designs to comic book covers. So welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I'm excited. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I am very excited too because I know you from your comic cover that you've done with Xenoscope and a few other companies, but I am very curious how you got into art because your career path is anything but traditional.
Yes, yes. Well, I start in comics. I start in 2003 as a colorist, and then I work up to 2006 when I decided to go for my own path. Like I want to do my art. I want to work with comics, but I want to do my own stuff. So I decided to create pinups. And I worked with pinups for 10 years, and it was really, really fun. And most part of people know me because of the pinups, and I love it.
Yeah, and I mean, even going further a little bit back, and correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, you started in art and then you took more of a business administration side to things, I think.
Well, in terms of a business, I work with my partner, and he is much more the business side than me. I am much more the artistic part. But yeah, I had to learn a little bit how to work as a business person, as a business artist, and it's not so simple like it looks like, yeah. But yeah, my partner, he is very good on it, and he helps me a lot, and I learn a lot from him.
Because I think this is one of the things that I think is interesting about you in particular is that a lot of artists, and I'm going to say something very nice, they're very not so nice. They kind of suck and they're very bad at the business side of art because
Mhm.
the creative side is very different than the business side.
Yeah.
And I'm not the most creative person in the world, but I am very business savvy. And so, what is this like for you? Because I think you and your partner have really figured out how to do that. But even understanding that as a creative gives you a lot of insight, I think, into how to design things and how to build something out and how to, I guess, get work and also make sure that you're profitable and that you're protecting
Yeah.
what you're doing. And I think it's a very tricky situation before we get to the fun stuff in the pinups. I promise we're going to get to it. I promise.
Yes, Alex, my partner, he is extremely like you. He's very going to the business. So with him by my side, I had more opportunity to understand how to navigate for this creativity part and also the business part. It's as I said, it's not simple for us creative people. We have a different kind of a mindset, and when we see sometimes that our work is not profitable, is not working, is weird, and we can get depressed very simple, very quickly, because we are giving our passion. We are doing everything with our hearts, and we are drawing, we are painting, we are making this part that is from our soul, let's say that, and suddenly it's not profitable for some reason. Why? And why is not we're not making the money money enough to pay the bills. Why it's happening? So with Alex by my side, I've learned how, okay, I need to do something in that way and thinking another way and counting my time. So I need to know how long I'm gonna take to create some pieces and how it will be in terms of financial, how can I handle my art and be profitable. So yes, it's a learning process and not easy. So it's complicated sometimes, but yeah, I think I'm learning.
Yeah, and even going further into this, because obviously different art definitely attracts, different clientele. And,
Yeah.
I'm going to use a term here that I think a lot of people know, but bad girl art and pinups tend to attract views on the art. They tend to attract, sales on art. And you've made a very interesting career out of doing a lot of pinup stuff. And the ones that I want to start with is this, which I think
Oh,
is brilliant. And I promise if you buy this magazine, it doesn't have the Cris Delara watermark on it. So I just want to make that crystal clear before you will get one without that. I just want to make it crystal clear. I pulled it off the
yeah.
internet. It was there. So anyhow, but what's the story? Because I didn't even know something like this existed at all.
Yeah.
And I was going through it. I'm like, this is something now I need to buy.
That one, that nurse is called. I always gave names to my pinups. So that one is Sarah, and Sarah was created on a little piece of paper like this size, small, very small. And I was excited about this, and I was listening to a song because I love music when I'm creating. I forgot the Oh my God, I forgot the song. So 80s, but so cool. And I was listening, I think it's Dire Straits. Yeah, very nice song. And I just
Both into
drawn.
swing or money for nothing is the
No,
two
the
big
first
ones.
one. The first one. That one, the
Sultans of
first.
swing.
Yeah, I was listening that song and I'm gonna do something. Some pinups. I'm gonna do a pinup, and I did very small. And wow, that sketch is good. I like it. So I scanned it and worked on my computer, and suddenly Sarah was created. And talking about business, that pinup was licensed for $20,000. That $20,000 was licensed. So was a very good business for me on that time. I just love it.
And to even go further into pinupology here, there's this
Oh,
one. This
of
is
course.
this is my favorite pinup that you've done because I just love the guitar. It's also this one's great too. It's between these
Mhm.
two, but focusing on this one, obviously what is this like? Because you got the angel, you got the guitar, and you got the punk rock vibe to it, but you also got some subtleness into it as well.
Yeah, the Pinup Art magazine was an idea. Like I created this name, and it was in 2014, if I'm not wrong. I decided to okay, let's do something with pinups, and I'm gonna make my own magazine. Was something that I decided to do. I'm gonna do that. So I created a name, Pinapology. Alex liked it. Let's do something. And I started just creating samples about my pinups as a cover from this magazine. Is everything under this name? And I created many covers, and was there the feedback was amazing. People love it. I never published the Pinapology. Alex wants to publish until today. He always talking about the Pinapology. Let's make Pinapology. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But never happened until today. And I'm very happy you like these images because I love them too.
And then there's this
Oh
one
yeah,
too. And then this is called America. Happy
yes,
4th of July. Happy late 4th of July, everybody. And this is just fun too, where this is obviously a really cool, play on the American
yeah,
flag and the 4th of July. It's so
yeah,
magazine oriented. And that's what's great about it is that, like, I could
yeah,
absolutely see this on something like Screwed, for instance, or something on Hustler as a cover, where I could absolutely see something like this either in that magazine or on the cover of it.
Yeah. And I like vintage. I just love Evergreen. I love the Rockwell. I absolutely love Lee Decker. I'm just crazy about those guys, and their work is always, in terms of pinups, for me, always was my big influence. But on that image, the face of the eagle is a very famous actor. Oh, actor, leading man. I'm a fan, so I decided to do this eagle, follow his expression because I think he's really cool, and I did that. And I'm not gonna ask you what actor you think it is, but I can tell you. Was a joke, but I did. Can you imagine?
But what actor is it?
The Rock. I used his expression, his eyes, the way he looks, like making eye contact. And I did that on this eagle. So I had so much fun using his face as my reference.
And
I
then,
never
and then,
told you.
and then even going further into this as well, we got this one too, which is awesome. Where this is
Cinderella.
very much reminds me of the Legend of Zelda, and very much Princess Zelda in a lot of ways. And I like this one a lot too because you kind of get it. It's different than the other three, I feel, where it's got more of a night feel to it. And what is that like? It's also got more of a fantasy vibe to it as well.
It was my Cinderella version. I decided to do something nice and cool and charming and elegant, sexy, but as a Cinderella. Yeah.
And so that one's there. And then even going further into this, and I don't think these were necessarily with Pinupology, but you got this one right here, which is super, super cool. And it's just, and there's a few, I think there, whether it's a set or not, or it's an unofficial set, there's a few other ones that were similar to this one. But what is this like? Because obviously people like the punk rock scene, people like
Yeah.
esque things, people like rock and roll in a lot of ways. And this is sort of in that vein in so many ways. So what is this like when you have something like this and getting to play with this?
Yeah, that one was one of my very first pinups. I mean, the very first ones that was really successful. People really, on that time, they loved that one. They loved it. And then a lot of comments about the very short skirt and people complaining because it was too short and revealing
I
too
don't mind.
much.
I don't mind. So I'm gonna say I don't mind.
But I was on the vibe of the rock and roll. I was thinking about a pinup that was like dancing and singing and playing the guitar. I was super indeed because I go into the mood and I put on a little bit of myself in every pinup that I did. So I was imagining myself performing. I'm very shy. I don't do those things.
So let
But
me ask you a question about this because one of the things is that I believe in uncensorship, and I believe in. I'm a big free speech advocate. I'm a big freedom of expression advocate as long as you're not harming somebody or calling for an action. And I think art needs to be expressive in a lot of ways. And so this to me is not offensive, even if it's pushing the line where I'm saying, look, you can't censor art to that degree because then you're going to take something away. And so I'm curious how you feel about that because I feel that if you turned it down and you censored it, and it wouldn't lose a lot of it, but also I feel it becomes somewhat disingenuous to some degree because I've seen, chicks rock out and slightly inappropriate, but they're like legitly jamming on a guitar. And so, what is that like for you when you're building out a piece? Because I think that the fact that it is a little suggestive per se, it really does create an
yes,
authentic piece.
yes. Yes, but even that, people really, really enjoy. Until today, I still receiving messages from people talking about this image, and that one it was a big success on the time, and I enjoyed that very much. Yes, that
And
one I
then,
forgot her name.
and then even going further into this, because I like this one too, where
Oh
this,
yes,
this is
that
this is just fun.
was that
I love
was
the water in
received.
it. I love the water. I love the water in it.
Oh, yeah. That one received a nomination for a award, and I got the third place on that competition. Yeah, and I was very happy. And I like because that turtle is part of another image that I did on the past, when one turtle was surfing on top of the other one, and I love that image because it is a kind of a story about that image about the two turtles surfing. But I decided to do something with a pinup in the turtle too because I love that turtle. So I just brought this one and put together and decided to do something. They were together on this adventure on the ocean. A girl, is a pinup girl with the turtle. So it's fun. It's a sailor girl that has no name.
Yeah, and isn't it the idea? I mean, sailor girls have been around forever.
Yes.
It's a Navy thing, you know, and obviously people love pinup sailor girls. They love that. That's a traditional Navy tattoo. You know, I'm a big fan. I love Sailor Jerry, who's like the guy who basically invented, American traditional single needle tattooing. Um, I also drink that rum, but that's neither here nor there. But obviously he's done pinups and things like that. So what is that like? Because that's an amazing, thing, and that's something that I would want to get tattooed on me.
Yeah.
Because it's just very, very cool. Maybe not, maybe her a little bit more in a pinup position, but even just the way she looks, I mean, it's just beautiful.
Yeah. You know what I like most? My main idea creating pinups was the message was joy, the joy, bringing the happiness, like they did on the past with the soldiers, the Second War. They was a symbol of happiness and hope and coming back home, and that kind of happiness was something that I always want to do much more than the sexy part and the beauty part, but the joy, bringing something more, a joke, something for laughing. I think laughing is the best. When you see a pinup and that pinup can make you laugh, oh, that's my goal. That was
It's
my
also
goal.
very playful, this pinup.
Yes,
This pinup is extremely playful. She
yes,
also just looks so enjoyable. And
yeah.
it's kind of like, people who like pinup art, they're looking for sexy playfulness, and,
Mm-hmm.
coy
Mm-hmm.
is a good
Yes.
word to use. And so it's very interesting, sort of like this, I feel as well, where, obviously this is very much a pinup too. And it's very coy in
Yes.
that regard. And so that's something I think is a good example because I mean, I could tell you that I just love this. And if somebody sent this picture to me on my birthday, I think it'd be funny. It'd be funny.
Oh, and that cat is my cat. Is Raven, my cat. She's not here right now. Oh, that's another cat. That's Sammy. But the one on the pinup is Raven. Raven is my black cat, and I always used to create stuff with her. And I start putting her on my pinups too because she was a baby on that time. But Raven is very very playful, so I like to put Raven on my pinups.
And then even going further into this, because this is what's also cool. And obviously, I'm a huge Pokemon fan.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so I think this is technically a pinup, or it's pinup-esque. I don't know exactly where the rules of pinup begin and pinup end, but to me, this is in the vein of pinup. And so, what's the story behind this? Because I'm a huge
Yeah.
Pokemon fan. I love Pokemon. A lot of people from Pokemon have been on my show. Huge
That's
fan.
amazing.
I love this, and I
That's
love
great.
interpretations. I love interpretations
Yes,
of mystery.
that one I did for my patrons. On that time, I was with a patron project about pinups, and I did as a reward, and also very well accepted. People love that image. I decided to do something like not a girl, not a child, of course. It was a pinup, so I decided to put her like a young girl, but at the same time nice and beautiful and a little bit sexy, but it's much more about the game. So I create that image thinking about that to the fans, to the people that, like you said, love the Pokemons and the characters. And I think that one is one of the most famous and is a very important character on the game. Not only the Pokemons itself, but she represents that the fan base for me.
And then even going further into this, and this I think is an old one from you. This one.
Yes, the Nurse Joy.
So my relationship with Nurse Joy is I just interviewed the original voice actress in the English dub, Megan Hollinshead, who plays Nurse Joy. And so that's one of the things why I love this. And obviously Xenoscope did their version of Nurse Joy, which is awesome, that Sanku Inaki did. And so what is this like for you? Because this is old. This, I think, is sort of in the vault a little bit. And what is this like to have a sexy, fun, very doctor-esque Nurse Joy, if you will?
Yes, a very too much sexy for the Nurse Joy, I know. But that one I did the same idea, trying to do something nice and joy and playful and happy. But on that one, I tried to explore more the manga style, which is not my style originally, but I admire so much. I think it's so beautiful. I just love the manga style, the anime style. I just love it, love, love. But when I'm going to draw, it's funny. I never went to this area because you need to dedicate yourself to draw well, to make it beautiful anime or manga style. You need to study, and I never had this chance. So on that one, I decided, no, let's try this. Let's see what I can do if I'm going to this area. I love it. I love it. And Megan, the voice actress, we talked already this image and she liked it too. And I'm very happy because she really enjoyed that pinup.
And then sticking with anime here, because you did this one too.
Yes.
And the way I equate this is that this is very much similar to Josh Burns's cover, I feel, for Xenoscope's Grim Fairy Tales Volume 2, where that cover is very Sailor Moon-esque. This is extremely Sailor Moon-esque because it is Sailor Moon, so it would be weird if it wasn't. But what is this like? Because this is also in that manga, anime, comic, real style, and also like the surreal style too. And so what is this like? Because this is another thing that you've done, and it's just like, I would imagine it was well received.
That one was a huge success. People love that one. And as you can see, on that one, I didn't play with the anime and manga style because I respect a lot. And if I can't do well, I don't do. I only am going to work with something that I can do very well. And I need to study and develop that part. So on that time, I decided to go for my own style, like the comic style. And I just create this action. She's coming. She is going to you. She's leaving the page and coming to your side of the story. She's having a conversation with you with her eyes. And that's something that I really need with my pinups was they are talking to you. They are looking at you and they are saying something. I used to say when I'm creating pinups, if the pinup doesn't talk to me, it's not working. I can't start again or take a break because she needs to talk to me. I need to have a connection and a conversation. And that one, the Sailor Moon, she is having this conversation. She's looking at you and say something. Hey, I'm coming to you. I'm going to talk with you. Let's have a conversation. So that's the idea.
Go further into this, and we're going to dive into some of your comic stuff before we get to the covers. And I'm curious though, because obviously there's been a lot of great pinup artists and a lot of people have done amazing pinup styles. Ebas is a good example of that. There's Vargas back in the day with Playboy, and a variety of other people. Keith Garvey is a good example of that as well, who does really good pinup work. Elias Chazudis is another one. So what makes a good pinup? Because I think everybody sort of knows what a good pinup is. I think people know what a great pinup is. And what, in your opinion, though, makes a good pinup, both what you see and as an artist? Because I think
Yeah.
that's a real complicated, thing where we all know what it is good and great, but we don't know why per se.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious
Well,
from your creation point, what makes a great pinup? Because you have all these amazing, pinup styles and pinup-esque pieces, and I'm trying to figure out, in your opinion, what makes a great pinup?
okay, I really think that when I see a pinup and I only see the sexy part of the body, I feel sad because for me the pinup is action and attitude. The message. She must say something. She must do something that is much more than the beauty or the body, the anatomy. Just showing the breast or the butt, it's nothing. It's just a little part of the big message. So for me, a pinup is the story. She must say something. She must do something. And the image is not. I'm not talking about like interacting with another character or a background. No, no. She must be doing something. She must do something that is interesting and tell you something that can make you feel happy or think about something or relate with something. So that's the big pinup for me. Like you mentioned, like Vargas or even the Elfie Green, especially Elfie Green, my favorite one. In every single image, you have a story and you see something and you connect and you make kind of a little traveling inside the image. You see the beautiful girl, of course, and you see what she's doing and how she's doing, why she's doing. Oh, at the end, that happened. Why it happened because of that and that and all. That's a little story. So, like, it's much more than not much more. It's something like opening a book and reading a book, reading a story, and you see, oh, that's an amazing story, and you close the book. With a pin-up or a cover, it's exactly the same feeling. You look and you, oh, that's happening because of this and this and oh, that's amazing. I can see a story here. I love this pin-up. I want that pin-up for me. I'm gonna put on my wall. That's the big pin-up for me.
I mean, there's a tattoo artist, and he did a pinup of a girl, and instead of drinking a martini, she was in the martini. Her legs were up, her head was back, and her
Yes,
ass and butt was in it, and it was on Ink Master. And I thought that was a brilliant pinup because instead of her drinking the martini, you now had a real funny image and a sexy girl. And the whole thing is that she was in the martini, not drinking it. And I thought it was
she
a
was in
brilliant
the
pinup.
margin. Yes,
And I thought it
yes.
was funny. I thought it was a great story. I thought that it was cute. I thought the entire thing. I thought the girl was adorable in it, and I thought that entire thing. And obviously, I'm a guy, so I'm probably not gonna wear that pinup. I find that to be a little bit more feminine pinup. But if that was on a girl, it'd be really cute. And so I thought it was a great
Yes.
story though. And so I agree that pinups need to have something. It's kind of like if you have a football cheerleader holding a football, making a motion to run with the ball, you got a story going on a little bit. So
Mhm.
I think that's something that's super interesting. But I do want to talk about some of your comic pinup art, and we're gonna do this with this one because I like your Supergirl.
Yeah, that one I did 2016, 17, I think. And yeah, I did for because I'm a huge fan of DC Comics and DC characters. and that one is Alex, my partner. It's his favorite, so he just crazy about Supergirl, and I did that for him, and yeah, he liked that too. And I was thinking about something like the same idea. She's doing something. She's floating. She's on the air, and she's looking at us and say, "Hey, I want to fly. Come fly with me." Something like that. Let's talk. So I did that for Alex,
Well,
basically.
let's even talk about this because in DC Comics, and hopefully I'm not going to get too much flack for this, but I think there's only one person when it comes to Supergirl you can mention who has the best Supergirl, and I think it's Michael Turner, hands down. I
Hmm.
think Michael Turner is the Supergirl guy. I
Yes.
don't think anybody has come close. Doesn't mean people are bad. It just means that he does it the best. Um,
Hmm.
and so on, because this is very much in that vein where Michael Turner has all these covers with Supergirl where she's flying, and it's brilliant. And so, and much like J. Scott Campbell has the entire thing on Mary Jane. I don't think anybody will ever
Yeah.
draw Mary Jane better than J. Scott Campbell or, Black Cat. I think there are other people who have drawn Gwen Stacy better than Campbell. But what is that like? Because this is very similar to Campbell. No, not Campbell. Michael Turner. Michael Turner.
Hmm.
Yeah, Michael Turner. I want to make sure Michael Turner, everybody. So what is that like? Because you have Supergirl now flying, and it's kind of cool in that regard. And so what is that like? Because I think that's the standard in a lot of ways.
Yeah, because I think flying is the. She is strong. She is a superpower girl. Yeah, I know that, but I think she is in same time not so. How can I say? She's simple. She is powerful, but she is friendly and I don't know the exact word how to express, but the flying thing is
She's
what
not
something.
the way I describe Supergirl is that she is not as perfect as Superman. And
Mhm.
and the way I describe Supergirl is that she's flawed, she makes mistakes, she's powerful,
Exactly.
but
Yes. Yes.
and look, she's not the face. You look at Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Those three characters are very much defined. And not to be mean to Supergirl, but Supergirl is sort of a B plus character if we're going to rank
Mhm.
all the characters out. So therefore, she has more freedom. I feel it to be a little bit more imperfect. Is the way I describe
Exactly.
Supergirl.
Exactly. So because I'm not sure about the Wonder Woman is more mature and she has much more. She has a heavy background. Let's say that. And Kara, I think Supergirl, she's different. So she's light and she's a more how can I say is she's more. Not gonna say young, but it's something that I like to relate with beauty and like Art Jam used to do her very beautifully because he just touched this point that I'm trying to find the word and I can't find, but he does exactly this simplicity of her. In the same time, she is absolutely strong. She is a superpower girl, but he does so beautifully the same this character nowadays. You mentioned Michael Turner, of course. Michael Turner is wow, but nowadays I think Art John, he is the guy that can nail her so well, so good.
We did a
And I
really
love,
great cover
oh
of
my god,
her that was foiled,
absolutely,
and it was beautiful.
absolutely,
Like the blue was foiled
yeah,
on it, and it's like a standard cover. And I'm like, oh man, that's nice. Like, yeah, but I
he
digress.
does
Right,
this,
I do want to talk
yes.
about these as well, where this is Harley Quinn, and then this
Yeah.
is and so what's the story behind those two? Because there are a couple. Just saying, everybody deal with it. I mean,
Yeah,
put it
now
this way,
now
and this way they can be kissing each other. If you want to imagine all that in your head, everybody. I just made this show really dirty. I just made it really dirty, really quickly.
I
We're not even
never,
yet. We're
yeah,
not
I,
at
I
Xenoscope
never
yet.
I never tried to do both like in this situation, but it's something is, I actually did one sketch. I think it was so they are together, like a little more together, very sensual, but at the same time not too much. There's one image that I did. Yes, that's true. But those ones, those you showed me, they are portraits, and I am absolutely crazy about portraits. I'm a portraitist, actually. And I was trying, oh my God, that's it, exactly. So I'm completely crazy about portraits. And I did those images, those two images, trying to think about portraying them, like just a portrait, not a classic one, but something like that.
Yeah, let's
That's
even
why.
talk about that a little bit because obviously, and we're gonna dive into the business a little bit. It's great as an artist to draw what you want to draw. And it's
Mhm.
great to be like, hey, I want to do portraits. I love portraits. I love
Yeah.
doing images like this. But it's also the idea that very few people can make a living just doing portraits. And so, what is this like, balancing that? Because I just showed a bunch of things really quickly, but even doing these in portrait style. And obviously, it's DC and it's Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn. And I would imagine they might do better than certain other portraits you have just because of those characters' history. Also, the fact that Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn all last year were both red hot. And Harley Quinn's one of the
Mhm.
most popular characters right now in DC Comics. And so, what is that like when you do get the opportunity to do a portrait and it does convert over? And whether that's views, social media, because not every portrait hits, for lack of a better word. And it has nothing to do with artistic ability. I think it has to just do with the fact that sometimes art misses, for lack of a better word.
Well, you are right. It's not easy to make a living as an artist doing what you most like to do. So for me, is I'm a self-taught artist, so I have been dealing with that since the beginning, learning on my own time, doing everything that I can do to learn and be able to work on this industry. And it's not easy at all. I'm not now. I'm very happy because my son, he went to art school, a place that I never had chance to go. And for me, it's something, it's absolutely special. And even there, he's in the middle of an animation program at Sheridan Art School here in Canada. And it's not easy even in that area. And he has knowledge from the college, and we discuss a lot about art. And it's amazing to see that I'm not so far from them because my strugglings are the same that they have, even they had the chance to go to school. And for me, my passion always was portraiture. I absolutely love portrait, and I'm still studying and developing and creating my portraits. And in same time, I need to work. So I have been working as an illustrator for decades since I started. So doing covers, doing book covers too, working with small publishers, collectors, private authors. So it's a kind of a balance, you know. I need to be flexible. You need to learn how to handle that and don't be frustrated because it's not simple. It never will be for us artists because we don't have holidays, we don't have vacations, we don't have, we need to work all the time to make a living from art. And people thinks that we are lazy, we are not hard workers. Oh, I'm an artist, oh she's an art, oh okay, she's an art, so they don't
It's an issue.
understand. Yes,
It's a real issue where people think this show just happens. They
exactly.
don't understand the whole mentality that I did my homework on you. I've researched, and I think people don't understand when you look at an artist. Oh, they control and they can bang something out. To some degree, you might be able to bang something out, but at the same time, like a commission at a con, if it's a simple enough commission or it's a simple enough pinup, but even still, when you're designing a portrait or a cover or a piece of art or a book cover, it's not just doesn't happen. And some people are faster than others. I know people can bang out a cover in 4 days. I also know people who take 2 weeks to bang out a cover because that's just the way they operate. And so, I just think that people are uneducated in this sector, and people that, and I've had this discussion when I was asking for money from people, and I got a lot of bad press on it, and I'm very honest about it, where I don't think they understand how complicated it is. And I don't think most people understand what goes into something like this or something like this. And I think it's a real issue. And I think that it's a lack of education where I understand that this takes time, and I'm not an artist and I can't do it. So even if you were to teach me and I was to go to art school, I do not have the ability to do that. It's not within my cards. And so I'm well aware though how complicated doing something like that is. But I can do something like this all day, guys. I can totally do something like this. I'll big at it like 10 minutes. Just.
That one is so cool. The bridge behind her is the bridge of my city. So I have this bridge on top of the canal, and I love that bridge. And I decided to put this bridge on my background, and I love it. I love Batgirl too, because I grew up watching the Adam West and Linda Carter and all the shows with the old characters. So Batgirl is one of the I'm always thinking about her, and how to explore more, how to make her more charming, more active. Because I don't think she has much space in the social media. I think Batgirl deserves much more attention, and she has. So I think I need to do something to help. So I did
It's
this
very
in my.
interesting, Batgirl, and obviously there's a
Yeah,
lot of history with Batgirl. There's a lot of stuff that has been
yeah,
explored and has not been explored with her, and a lot of things have been done. And obviously, I'm sure that with what just happened at Warner Brothers Discovery, they can that movie, and it's going to get rebuilt at some point down the line, and it's going to be better than ever before. And I'm sure that it will be fixed in the long run. But
yeah.
it is what it is. And then I really want to touch upon this really quickly, which is some character design work done
Yes.
before we get to the covers. So this one, and then this, just super trippy.
Oh, I love that one. That one is
And I know some
so
others
cool.
as well, I think.
Yeah, that one. Well, the first ones. I was part of illustration agents. I had to create some fashion images, and I liked putting my pinups and fashion together. So I decided to play with a little bit, and those two first ones, the portrait of the blonde girl and that one, they were much more because of a fashion, and I had so much fun doing this. Oh, that one, I love it, love. People until today ask me how I did this hair.
Yeah, it's
It's
something
cool.
that's interesting, and it's very Taylor Swift like, if you will.
Yeah, I love this too. And yeah, not complicated to make this hair, just because I like to create on my softwares my own brushes. So I create this brush, and I was testing. I was trying to make some samples of these brush strokes, and works well for hair. Let's make it. So I use it, and it was really cool. And that one, the anatomy is a little trying to go something more anime, something. I know that's far from. I know, but I try, and the result was not too bad.
And
And
what I
she's
like about
cool.
this is that it's very much almost shot like a photo, where her is in focus and then the
Yeah.
background is blurred out, but you can still tell it's a town or a corner of like a
Mhm.
street or something of that nature. You also get the sense that it's sort of, a quiet town where it's not a bustling city. And so you
Yeah.
get that vibe too, where it's probably more the countryside, I feel, or more. And you also get that it's probably fall winter esque as well
Yeah.
versus summer. And it's also sort of later at night as well. So it's really just a nice piece, and there's a lot that can be dived into it. Or you could just look at the girl and be like, oh, that's cool, and it's a nice piece, you know. And then that's what I like about this one in particular is that it's got multiple levels that can be examined.
Yes, yeah. I did this image thinking on Paris. I never been there, but I was thinking Paris at night, how it would be, and something romantic and charming and nice. That's the background that I did, was thinking on Paris. So yeah, this is cool. I like it too.
And now I want to back out of all that stuff, and I do want to talk about comics, and I do want to talk about Xenoscope because that's where a lot of your comic cover career is in. And
Yes.
so, how did you get involved with Xenoscope? Because this is going to be a trivia question at some point in Xenoscope. So everybody who sees this in Xenoscope at a virtual con, this is your answer for you. But how did you get involved with them? You know, somebody's going to want to win a prize. I'm just saying, you know, this is the answer, guys. But how'd you get involved with Xenoscope? Because they've been around for 17, 18 years now, and yeah, they're sort of
Yeah.
place top cat bad girl art.
Well, um, Ralph contacted me in 2013, if I'm not wrong. He asked me if I'd be interested to create some covers, and of course I accepted. And I had was just first love, when you just go and you feel so comfortable and you love it and you feel good. And the best thing of working with Xenoscope is the freedom. They are so amazing. They are so they enjoy what they are doing, and they allow you to enjoy to creating the covers with freedom. They give me that opportunity to develop my ideas and my imagination, and that flexibility is just magical for me. I feel absolutely. I always say I'm a Zen girl. And I love Zenoscope, and anytime they need me, I'll be doing. It doesn't matter if I don't have time on my schedule. No, I'm gonna create space on my schedule to make the Zenoscope material because they deserve it and they deserve my best as an artist and the Pinup artist that I've been working with for so long. So I do with my love, my passion for Zenoscope. I totally Zen girl.
So
Yes.
to even go through this and show some of this stuff, because this is, I think, one of
Oh,
your.
I love that. That's my favorite. I
So
love
so
that.
what's the story behind this one? Because this is Grim Fairy Tales 105. I think this is the first 105 in volume one. I want to say I could be wrong, but I think it's volume 105. And so, what's
And
the story behind this?
that one, actually, my second cover to Xenoscope. On the first one, I never had a cover before the first one, and I was very nervous to make something really cool. And it was the first one was nice, but on the second one, that one, I was more comfortable. I was more relaxed. Okay, let's do something nice and not be so under pressure to make something extremely good. No, let's do something cool. And yes, I did that. I thought about Sela and I decided how can I make her powerful and sexy and respecting her story because she is I forgot how was the story about this image, but it was a portal and she was going through this portal, and I was thinking, how can I respect this story? How can I create something extremely beautiful and nice and strong at the same time? So I was thinking, and I was looking at a magazine, a fashion magazine, and I saw an expression, a model doing this. Hopefully, I thought that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do this expression, like I'm gonna talk to you. This she is talking to us, So perfect. And I create this image like this, having fun with this power and her sword and her attitude. And yes, I just make a character and the portal at the background. Simple like that, but with a lot of a communication. And that was my approach for this cover. And yeah, it's my favorite because it was
And then
my
even
the beginning of my story.
and then even talking about this and sort of staying in, I think, a similar style. This one is really cool too. And what's cool about this one is that it's the background really makes this thing pop because it makes the grim fairy
Mhm.
tales and even the lettering pop off. And then you got her, and you don't have a lot going on in the background
Yeah, she's
beyond
here.
just what she's got in her character. So what was this like? Because it is a little bit different than the one that I just showed.
Yes, exactly what you said. My intention was to create impact about her in green against the red of the background. So all the action, all the tension would be on her attitude, and she's one more time talking to us. So this communication is something that I need to do always. So that basically is simple but strong. I think it is very strong.
Yeah, and then even going further into this, because obviously Grim Fairy Tales is the flagship, but what puts Xenoscope on the map is Wonderland, and you have to play with some Wonderland. And so this right here is crazy, and we got that going on. We got a lot of colors going on with this. Got a lot of pop off the bat, if you will. So what was this like? Because this really is capturing what I think is your style in a lot of ways.
Yes, it's very eye-catching for sure. And this pose is a kind of a pin-up pose. So I took advantage of this language of the pin-up girls, and I try to apply this. As you can see, she's not doing much actions. She's just sharing something with us, this conversation. And this little fairy on at her hand is the magic thing, but she's looking at us and showing, look what I have. So this is a kind of acting of her, simple like that. I like simple things. I don't play with crazy backgrounds, crazy action. I like simple gestures, but simple but strong. You can feel the strength. You can look and you can see and you can almost can listen her saying something. You know.
And then even going in further into Wonderland, we got this as well, which is a lot lighter. And so obviously, I think that's Callie
Yeah.
or maybe Violet.
Kelly, yes. Yeah.
And so obviously you got that going on, and there's a lot of stuff going on with this one. You got the teacup doing its thing, you got the cards flying, you got her in there, and so what was
Yeah.
this like? This is like a little bit of a busy cover.
It is, but in that case, even that is not two bees. We have a lot of things happening there, but it's just because she is going through another, like a portal, and she's going through or she's coming from. So what's happening is the universe of this portal is around her, showing us what's going on or what she's going to face or handle, and her in the is she is in the center. She is the getting all the attention, but this universe here is around her. Everything's happening on that story, on that book. Open that book, and you're gonna see this world. That's my message.
Yeah, and even further going into this, because obviously it's Wonderland, and there's a lot of cool stuff going on in Wonderland. And so, what was
Yes.
this like working on that? Because again, this is what put Xenoscope on the map. And I think this is sort of the sequel to Wonderland in a lot of ways, but it's still, completing the story and all that stuff. And so, what is that like for you? Because obviously, a lot of people are now buying this type of cover, and certain Xenoscope series are more popular than others. So, what was
Yes.
that like that you got like a really cool cover on something that really helped to put Xenoscope on the map, and also these covers sell?
Absolutely sells because fantasy sells, and which is amazing on Xenoscope's books, is exactly that, because you can play with fantasy, you can have adventure, you can have action. It's everything there inside the books. So the cover must show that. The cover must show that everything's going on. And it's a big adventure, and it's a beautiful girl, and she has power, and she has energy, and she's struggling with problems too. So she's not only perfect, she has things to handle. And every single cover, in my opinion, must show that, must show the soul of the character and everything that's going on. So that
Do
one
you
is
also feel?
magical.
Do you also feel with Xenoscope? Because one of the things about Xenoscope that if you're not a Xenoscope fan, they have 3 to 4 covers per book. That's cover A, B, C, and D that a comic shop can pick up, and then they have exclusives and other things, and they really do provide a huge amount of different options for their fans.
Yes.
So if you want the cover C, which is the pinup, more sexy, type style, that's what's going on. If you want the traditional cover A that, a 12-year-old will be fine with, the cover A is more that style. I think the cover C, you've done a lot of cover C's and not cover D's. Those tend to go a little bit more risque. They tend to be a little bit more sexy. They got the pinup, or they got the more action, or something along those lines. And do you feel that it's obviously work? So I
Mhm.
mean, Xenoscope provides work for artists and provides them an opportunity to do something. When a company like DC or Marvel only has a cover A or a cover B, and Xenoscope has a cover A, B, C, and D, well, that means 2 more artists are getting a gig. So, but it
Yes.
also allows for me as a fan to say, cover A is not my jam, but cover C looks pretty cool, So, do you feel that's also very beneficial to you, because that gives you an opportunity to show what you can do?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's fantastic, right? Because they support the artists, they help artists. So they, as you said, they give an opportunity and chance to show your art, to be published. So this is amazing. This is something that we need to respect and admire from Zenescope. They really invest in the people, the artists, the writers, the stories, of course, but the artists, they have chance, and that's so special, and that's so good. I admire and I love this kind of mindset they have.
And then
And
even going further into this too, because obviously you got to work on Robin Hood, and I think this might be your only cover A that you've done for Xenoscope, which is crazy.
yeah, I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. What
And
you mentioned,
and
it's gonna be.
I just want to say, since it's Pat Chan, fuck Pat Chan, that's the new gimmick, everybody. I'm sorry, it's Team Raven Gregory here. It's Team Raven Gregory. Um, I love Pat. All jokes aside, but this is an awesome, awesome cover, and it's
Yeah.
also, I feel, it's like an action cover for you, which is weird. It's weird.
Yes.
No offense. It's a really
Yes.
weird action cover for
Yes.
you. Not
That's
that
true.
it's done wrong. It's just weird that you did an action cover.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, as I said, I'm not action artist, but on that one, that character, she asked me to do. So I need to do this to Robin. She must be in action, or not only posing and as a beautiful woman. She is always in action. So it was necessary to do something to like get out of my comfort zone, let's say that, and create something more specific about the character. Yes, I'm very happy because was okay, and people like that cover very much until today, especially my son. He loves that cover.
And even going further, obviously, this one's awesome, and this is Robin Hood. I Love New York, I believe, and this is part 7 of 12. And so, what's the story behind this? Because this is way more your
Yes,
style.
yes, more portraiture, more mystery, more conversation and talking, no action, just showing something. It's much more me. You're very right, very right. That's much more this kind of a conversation that I like to have with my viewer. Let's say, yes,
And
that's
in
cool.
this one
You
too,
you have, oh my god, that's amazing. You have all the covers.
this is J. Scott Campbell-esque. This is like Sheena, J. Scott Campbell,
Yes.
where there's an amazing,
Yeah.
bunch of covers like this that Campbell has done. And this is what this is. So what is this like? Because honestly, this is the hunt. I really like Robin Hood.
Mhm.
Obviously, I enjoy it. Robin Hood has won me a bunch of free stuff from Xenoscope. No shame in saying that either, because I actually read the book, guys. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's a great story. If you actually read it, it's a great story. That's all I'm going to say to everybody. If you haven't read Robin Hood, it's up on
Yes.
Comixology with your unlimited subscription, and you can read 80% of Xenoscope for like $6.37 a month.
That's
So
great.
if you want to read Xenoscope and not collect it, it can be done very cheap. Um, but anyhow, what's the story behind this one? Because this is like a regular cover C or D, and it's kind of a crazy cover.
Yes, my art director, he asked me to do something in that direction. I had the first sketch, first idea, but he asked me to do something more that layout. So yes, I love to make her the same idea. She is just posing for us. She is talking to us, and we have some kind of a background more into this approach because she is on a different universe from her regular way, like costume and all this. Was fun for me to make her like in this new approach, and I like this thing of the hair and the wind and this kind of something like wild happening.
And so to even go further into this, because Robin Hood is one of Xenoscope's biggest things. Wonderland brought, I feel, Xenoscope to the map, and I think Robin Hood and Van Helsing have really continued that. And I think this is just my opinion, and I'm sure that Ralph and Joe might somewhat disagree, and they might have data to back it up. But I feel Robin Hood and Van Helsing have carried what Wonderland started. And obviously, Robin Hood is a very popular character. Van Helsing's a popular character. And what is this like for you to be able to really get to work on and do covers for Robin Hood? Because Zenescope fans know this character, and I think
So
it's a weird thing to I think sort of
yeah,
portray, because it is a big deal. It's a big character. It's a well respected character in a lot of ways as well.
it's a big responsibility, very big responsibility. And as you said, she is one of the big ones, if not the big one, for Xenoscope's fan base. And every time I need to do her work with her, I think, okay, I like to do something more the pinup style, but she is always in action. So I need to portray that in the right way to respect her path, her background, but at the same time, I want to show her beauty and her charm and her. I need to make her communicate with the reader. So it's always something I need to think about and be worried about. And but I like the challenge. I just love the challenge because it's like a puzzle. It's something that I need to. I have these elements, these pieces of my puzzle, and I need to make them make sense at the end. So every time I work with a Robin Hood, I have this thing in my mind. I need to respect her, but I want to show her beauty and her strength, which is for me very, very important. So the last one I did, I don't know if you have it, is a notebook for Xenoscope. I did. I talked to Dave and I asked exactly. I asked Dave, I want to play in my own way. I want to make something out of the box. And I had this idea. I want to share with you. And what do you think about that? And one more time, I'm so happy because Dave and Xenoscope, they're amazing. He allowed me to create my idea on my own terms. So that cover on that image, I create something showing her life, her universe. I have the robins, the birds. I have the bow. I have the arrows. So it's part of her universe. But the flowers, it means her she's a female character. She is a beautiful woman. She is strong, but she's also feminine, and she's charming. And at the background, I have the city where she plays her work. She goes there and she fights, and she is against the crime, and she's, doing her job. All the action is happening, and I put an eagle on top, like showing the power, because for me the eagle is power. So everything connected is the big puzzle of this image, and we have her beauty, and she's looking
So,
forward.
so, so let's even talk about this because right now, and I'm going to take a leap of faith, and I might get you and me in trouble for it. This is on a notebook right now. That doesn't mean that it won't be on a comic cover eventually. I know it's not. Joe may or may not have hinted at it when he was on my show, maybe 3-4 weeks ago, that it might end up on a comic cover. I don't know. I would put money on it. It might end up on a metal cover at some point. But right now it's on a notebook, much like this one is. I also know that it's a patch as well, with this one. So I don't know if this is on a notebook yet. I'm not. I know this one is. But
Yeah, I have them. You wanna see them?
yes. You
I
have them.
do have it. Yes, I do have it. See. Yes.
Because I know this one is not in a notebook yet.
I don't think so. Yes.
I know
Was
that
the
much. I just put up the link if anybody wants to buy the notebooks and the patches. It's up on Xenoscope. I think they're still in stock. If anybody wants to buy it and is seeing this and watching this, it's in the chat and all the link stuff. So, but obviously one of the things is what is this like to also be able to start creating something that's not comics yet for Xenoscope and create a different product line, which I think is interesting and what they're doing in that regard.
For me, it's like Disneyland. It's happiness because I'm creating something on under my terms, but of course following the instructions and all the guidance from Dave. But I can tell you, it's happiness. I'm creating something using my imagination, and it's so great. I want to tell the story of these characters in one scene, the cover. One image will tell everything. If you pay attention, you can do what I said before, traveling. You can go from one point to another point, and you think about why this bird is here, why this butterfly is here, why this flower, oh, she is doing that. So this kind of a content for me is absolutely happiness. I feel so grateful to Zenescope because of that, because they gave me this chance. It's not only about the story, but it's about her, what she is, why she is like that. Oh, that's amazing. I feel heaven.
So I do want to table what that entire thing is part of. For 1 second, I do want to mention one more cover, and it's this one.
Mm.
And so obviously San Diego just happened. This is an old one. I think this is 2015, 2016, I want to say.
Yes.
And so what's the story behind this one? Because this is obviously the booth. It's dealing with cosplay. It's having a good time in San Diego. It's Star Wars. And so what's the whole story behind this one? It's not that expensive if anybody wants to buy it. It's about a $25 book on eBay right now. So it's not
Wow.
out of people's reach. And I wonder if Xenoscope does have some of these. If you ask nicely enough, they might. So what's the whole story behind this one? Because it is kind of cool where you got the Xenoscope booth. You also have Star
Yeah,
Wars and the Comic Con.
they
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
they asked me to do. I think it's Kelly. I think it. Yeah, I'm not sure
Sorry?
exactly.
Karis, you mean?
I think it's. I think it's Kelly. So they asked me to do her dressed as Padme, and yes, and I did, and I love it. I just love doing that. But there is one point in that image that was really fun because I did her butt not so big. And on that time, they asked me, "Oh no, it's amazing, but you can do a little more." And more, but it's okay. Like no, a little more. So I did a little more, and then no, you can do a little more.
So,
So
so,
this,
so what happened with that? Basically, what was going on with that?
because I did in terms of anatomy, I did a pretty normal girl, but my art director on that time was not David. I think was before.
Was it Chris
Asked me,
Coates or was it Anthony
I
Spey?
I don't remember. It's a long time ago, but I remember that they asked me to do a little bigger her butt, and I was thinking, oh, really, really big? Okay, I'm gonna do a little bigger, and I did. And again, they asked me, no, Chris, you can do a little bigger. So I did this super bigger. Until today, I look to her and I oh, she's so pretty, but it's a little big.
So
But
what
I
is
have
this
fun.
like? So obviously Xenoscope's known for TNA. I don't think that's any secret.
I don't
And
know. I have no idea. I never asked why they asked me to do bigger, bigger, bigger. But yes, I think she's pretty. I like very much. I love and I did all my best on this. But I think it's in a big size. It's good. It's very proportional in some way. I love that image because I did with a high quality of a painting that I could on that time. My style today is a little different, but I admire this image very much. It's very beautiful, and I'm proud of that. And at the background is not you can't see on focus, but is my very first cover for Xenoscope is behind her. This the blue girl, the girl with blue, and that's my very, very, very first cover. I put there on purpose, so it's something that I have to remember, and I love it. I love it. I love everything I do for Xenoscope. I'm very proud. It's an
yeah, and what
amazing
is this like to
relationship.
do it? What is this like also to do a Star Wars cover? Because there are people that I know that are only collecting Star Wars covers that are not Marvel and are not traditional Star Wars things. So obviously this is a Star Wars. It's a San Diego Comic Con exclusive.
Yeah.
It's Grim Fairy Tales 12. I know that much. And so what is that like to really play around with that and get the ability to do that and play in that space as well? Because it's kind of fun when you get to play in Star Wars land.
It's great. It's great. Star Wars is it's amazing. You just to do something related to Star Wars make us it's fantastic. It's a great feeling. I love it. I love this one was a big responsibility for me on that time. It would be until today because it's Star Wars and Xenoscope together. So for me, it's something I need to be very careful to work with and doing all my best. And I did on that time a very good job, I think. I really enjoyed this work. And wow, Star Wars and it's great. I remember that producing and creating this image and how proud I was at the end. Until today, I think it's cool.
Yeah, I think it's an underrated cover. I really do. I think that it's really something that people don't appreciate as they should, and I think it's a great cover. But I do want to talk about the final four that we're going to talk about. Um, I believe this was the 2021 Advent calendar. This was in. I think this also was in it. I think this was also in it, and then this was the Halloween one. Um, and obviously, all four of these are a set. I don't know how if all these three were released in the Advent calendar for the holidays and the 25 days of Christmas Advent calendar that Xenoscope gave, but I do know that they did sell them individually. And so, what is the story behind this? Because I think this was the first one, I think this was the second one, and this was the third one, or this might have been the first one, and then this might have been,
Yes.
I don't know the whole order, but the idea here is that obviously it's all mixed media and they're really cool. And obviously, they're interesting. I mean, and so what's the story behind doing these covers, building them out, and all that stuff?
Yeah, I was pandemic situation, so not going anywhere, and I was thinking to make something cool and something nice, and I was thinking, okay, I don't want to use Copics much. I want to use, because I'm a traditional artist, I do digitally, I work digitally almost 100%, but personally, I love my traditional art. So I thought, okay, what can I do with my mixed media, and why not some Xenoscope art? I did as a fan of Xenoscope characters, so I did with my fan passion, and let's do something cool again about them. And I just chose two, three characters actually, and with them, okay, let's develop something. And I got some sketch cards, and they're big ones. And I start doing, and one I'm gonna go more cartoony style, the other one I'm gonna go more realistic style. Robin is more realistic. Van Helsing more cartoony. So let's play with these differences and do something nice with my mixed media. On that time, I was practicing, like, because I like to blend Copics with soft pastels and color pencil and ink markers, everything together. Let's see what I can do together. And wow, the result was so nice, so cool, and people on social media, they like it so much that I decided to send it to Xenoscope and say, look what I did, and I love doing this, and if you don't mind, I would like to show. And they allow me to show, and they like the images.
And so to even go further into this, and I don't know how this influences you, but these were limited to 400 a piece, and they were also initially included in the Advent boxes. And then following that, they were put up for individual sale where people could buy them, but still limited to 400. What is that like for you as an artist? Because I think you've had at least one or two exclusives that were limited. And look, everything is limited, but Xenoscope tends to do limited runs, 250, 350, maybe 500 sometimes. And so what was this like for you to be included in such a unique item and be sort of featured front and center to a degree? And I know that there were some other people in that Advent box, like Carla Cohen had some exclusive stuff in that Advent box, and a variety of others. So what was that like? Because it kind of, I would take it if I was in that situation of,
Such
being in an
a
exclusive club to some degree.
It's such an honor, Andrew. I feel so grateful. It's amazing. It's amazing for an artist to be recognized and take your work seriously by a company like Xenoscope. It's amazing. The words are not enough for me to express how grateful, how happy I am for this opportunity, for this chance to have my work published for them, and in this kind of special situation, with this limited work. Oh my God, it's amazing! It's amazing! I have no words to say thank you to them. They are fantastic.
Do you also feel that when there's a 400 print run or 250 print run or that a 500 print run, that it also changes the way that people perceive you and people perceive the art, and also it creates, I don't want to say fear of missing out, but it also makes it so that some people are not going to get it. I mean, I think the Keras is sold out. This one right here on the website is sold out. So if you want it, you got to buy it secondhand. And also I know that people aren't getting rid of them. And obviously, full disclosure, and Joe, Ralph, and everybody at Xenoscope knows I buy and sell books, and I've had books that I bought for 20 that I sold for $120 because they don't come up. And so I'm not saying that's your book today, but it could very well be that way because people who collect Xenoscope don't release their collections all that often. And so, in 5 years from now, I would also imagine that it must be nice if you go on eBay and your book's going for like 100, $200. You're like, oh snap, because it does create value. I mean, I had a Mike DeBaffo book that I bought for 20 that I sold for 120, and I think it says, hey, we value this artist as X.
Yes, that's amazing, isn't it? It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's a privilege. And yeah, I have no words to express how happy I am to be part of this family. I can consider myself part of the Xenoscope family because what I do when I'm working for them, I work with my heart. It's not only my job, it's something I do. I care about the image that I create to them, on my own language. I know that I'm not an action artist. I don't do action as I'm supposed to, because in comics we have so much action, of course. But in my own way, I create to them art which I love to do, and they believe, they invest, they really believe in my work, and that for me is love, is passion, is life, and I feel alive when I'm working on their material. So it's a wonderful relationship, wonderful, and they are amazing, with not only with me, with all the artists. I know that they are fantastic with all the art. So it's just gratitude and happiness, and more I feel inspired, to create more and more and more, like those ones I did on my time on the COVID time. Oh my gosh, I have so much more sketches, just creating and creating and creating. And I never show it, but they are there, and I have so many because they inspire me to be better and better as an artist. So it's amazing. It's amazing. This kind of people are fantastic.
So obviously we've been speaking for a while, and I've missed a bunch of your covers, and I know that I missed a bunch of stuff outside of Xenoscope. I missed a bunch of stuff in Xenoscope because I know you've done Grim Fairy Tales too. I know you've done a bunch of other things. Obviously, you have a lot of stuff that also I don't have, and that's not on Comics Vine or Comic Book Leak and all that stuff and all the sites. And you have a lot of other stuff. You have a lot of other portrait stuff out there. I mean, if anybody Googles your name on Google, there's legitimately like 10,000 images that pop up. So nobody fault me for missing a boatload of your career, but I am curious what is next for you, because you got a lot of stuff going on and you got things popping off. And obviously, I don't know if you still have Patreon or you're taking commissions, but what do you have next going on, and where can people bother you, hit you up? What do you have that you can announce that's coming out? All that fun stuff.
Yes, absolutely. You're right. A lot of things are going on, and I'm planning coming back to my pinup art because I took a break for a couple of years, and now I'm thinking to come back. We have a project to create vintage pinups, but it's a secret. Vintage pinups from using comic characters, and it's super cool and super amazing, and other ideas that I have, including my pinups. And yes, I take commissions, and and I have some. I can't share everything because it's secret. But yes, a lot of the comics are coming, and the more fan art on my Instagram, and the more things available for selling, and book projects. But I can't talk much about this. It's secret, but it's about my pinups again.
So where can people find you on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, website? all that fun stuff, because obviously people want to follow you, want to see where you're going to be updating everything, where can people contact you if they want to get a commission, or they want to buy some from you, or they even want to see what you're doing, and all that fun stuff, and social media wise.
Yeah, I have my Instagram, Find Fun Art by Delara, and I have my website, delara.ca. Platforms you can see my work, and you have access to my online store and buy my originals. For example, those originals of these 3 pieces you show me about the COVID time, they are available for selling. They are ready to go for a new home. And all my material for original art for sale are there too on my online store. And you can contact me if you want any commission or any idea for project. I'm super open for new commissions and excited.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff, and I'm gonna just keep saying it, and I've been saying it for almost 3 years, and I'm gonna continue to say it. You have to support indie. You have to support comic artists, writers, anybody in the comic field if you like it, because if you like something, you need to support it so it sticks around. Because if
Yes,
you don't,
yes,
just like anything else, it will disappear. That goes for
exactly.
every project. And so if you like something, you need to support it. If you want it to stick around, you need to support it. And so obviously, if you want Cris Delara to stick around, you got to support her. You got to go and buy her covers, whether that's from Xenoscope, whether that's getting a commission from her, whether she's working for Valiant or another company. Obviously you got to support there, or Dynamite, or anything else. IDW is another one, that DC Marvel, wherever you're going and whatever covers you're doing, whether you're buying that cover directly or indirectly, it does make a difference. Furthermore, you have to follow people on social media. Liking somebody's Instagram page, liking somebody's Twitter, liking somebody's Facebook page is all free. And that also tells a lot of these big companies, oh, this artist is popular. Or if you share it out on Instagram and you tag the person, or you tweet about it, or you share out their projects, that helps too. And so obviously you need to do all of that, because it is both money, because, well, life's expensive, as well as social media, because it does get gigs and sharing it out. And look, I'm the first person to say that I'm about to go through a very tight money problem in my personal life in the next 8 months, but I'm going to be sharing out a lot of people's projects, and that's just as valuable. And so,
Yes.
if you're in a money tight situation, that's my whole thing, is that you could still share it out. So I recommend everybody, if you got extra money, go get a commission, go buy the cover, first hand, second hand, third hand. I don't personally care. Go actually take a picture of what you bought and share it out, and tag a company like Xenoscope or a company like Valiant, or wherever other company you're working for. And then as far as I'm concerned about me, obviously, I am an independent podcaster. So I appreciate when people throw me money through Buy Me a Coffee. I appreciate when people actually like and share out the show. I
Yes.
appreciate when people use my sponsors. I have a variety of sponsors. I'm always adding new ones in. I appreciate when you use them, because it does come back to me. Also, I really, really appreciate when people share out an interview. It makes a huge difference if you share out an interview on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is Pop Anime Comics. Again, all that's free. There's no excuse that if you watch this interview and you don't subscribe or like my Facebook page, you're just being oppositional for no good reason. It is free. It's not going to cost you anything. You know what it is? You should leave a comment as well. Again, it's not going to cost you anything. And it does make a huge difference in my world. Furthermore, if you want to learn how to invest in comic books and learn how I make money doing it and learn the basics, a Substack is dropping in 2 to 3 weeks technically. And the first section of that class is going to be dropping, and it's going to be every other week. We are 50% done, and we will be fully done by October 5th, where that class will be fully dropped on Udemy. So I definitely recommend that if you want to learn that, pay attention to what I'm doing. But again, I appreciate everybody who supports this show, both on a money level and on a sharing level. And on that note, I'm going to give you the final word.
Well, I'm so grateful for this opportunity. Really, thank you for having me and for this long so many covers you show me. I even remember so many, and I wow, I'm so happy because I saw an image that I don't see for so long, and wow, that's so cool. It's a great moment, and I see my pinups again, the pinapology covers. Oh, it's so cool. I'm so happy, and you gave me inspiration to make more. Thank you very much.
Well, that's what we do here. And on that note, everybody, I don't think I can top that. So that is a wrap.